Okay, so I'm sitting in my closet. Seems like very late 2000s YouTube. So I wanted to start vlogging this mainly for myself, so that I can hold myself accountable. I have been really, this last year, wanting to get more into working out, and even just within building up what's already in my comfort zone. And working out is really good for your mental health. Particularly right now, I'm focusing on creating this foundation of working out and regularly doing it so that when I am off antidepressants, hopefully in the next 4 months, that I will have that structure in place so that I have a healthy alternative for managing my anxiety and managing my panic attacks. I was diagnosed this year after 9 years with having a panic disorder, and the diagnosis that my psychiatrist fully gave me is a panic disorder without agoraphobia, meaning that I can go outside and I can go about my life, but I have panic attacks and they are horrible. I just want to lay kind of the groundwork for all of this right now. So I had 2 meltdowns over this last year. I was going through a lot. I have a cough drop, sorry. I was going through a lot with the relationship that I was in, which now that I'm out of it, noticing a lot about it, but also just being in it was really challenging in good ways. The ways that I was noticing were good, at least. So the guy I was dating was at boot camp, and he was my best friend. He was who I talked to about everything, who I called if I was having a panic attack or having anxiety. So I started going to therapy at his request, and I started just going running. I would run 1 to 2 miles every few days. So I was running 3 to 4 miles a week. And there was one time that I went in the evening, which is when I like to go during that time because there was few people in the rec center. I didn't have to worry about it. And I walked outside and I misremembered where I'd parked my car. So I had a meltdown in the parking lot. At that time, that was the worst panic attack I'd ever had. Actually, it was the second worst, because the first worst was why I started therapy. That when I'd been driving back to school, which is a 3.5-hour drive, and I lost my fine motor function, I couldn't breathe, there was all these symptoms that I'd never felt before. Normally, I might notice that I'm breathing, or I might think I'm breathing weird, but that's about it. Like, I'm not actually having trouble breathing, or my heart doesn't normally pound, but that was what was happening, and my wrist locked up. That was the most terrifying panic attack I'd had at the time. So the second biggest would have been the one that happened in the parking lot, and then I found my car and I was like, wow, I knew I was being dramatic, but that went to a full panic attack. That semester in therapy was really unhelpful. I was given a grad student, which is very common, and most grad students do really good work, but my therapist, or my counselor, because he wasn't technically a therapist yet, wanted so badly to put me in this box of, this girl was just dumped by her boyfriend and that's why she's coming to therapy, rather than dealing with my pre-existing anxiety and depression and panic attacks I'd been dealing with for 9 years. I think it was a lot easier for him to put me into, she had a breakup, rather than this girl was sexually assaulted at a young age. This girl grew up with a lot of boys, and so held that mentality that we give young boys in society of, you don't cry, you figure it out, like, you do your shit and there's no excuse about it. And at that point, what I needed most from my therapist, he did help one time and saying, yeah, that's a panic attack. But the rest of the time was spent with him trying to work in that box, which wasn't helpful for me. So I went through the summer. I work at a camp every summer, and I was having a panic attack every 2 weeks, with the last one being in front of my boss's wife. Most of the time I can hold in my anxiety at camp and I don't have a problem, because I feel like my own person at camp and like I am myself. But I remember there was so much happening, and I was facing her and I was facing campers, and I had to turn around so that they wouldn't see my panic attack. I had 3 or 4 during that summer, and I worked 7 weeks. And then I came back to school, and I knew I wanted to start therapy again, and my new therapist is amazing, and like something happens and I want to talk to him about it. I want to talk to someone who's going to talk to me like I know what I'm going through. And I'm really glad that I came into therapy this semester with the mindset that my first experience isn't what therapy should be. I lost a lot of weight last semester from my anxiety and from not eating and being in a bad relationship, which I wasn't aware of at the time. And over winter break, I noticed just how much weight I'd lost, because I noticed that I went down 3 pant sizes in 2 semesters. So I love the weight I'm at now. Like, my weight has never been a big deal. I think it's super cool that I'm where I am right now. But since I lost the weight in an unhealthy way, I want to keep it off in a healthy way. So I've now worked out 3 days in a row. The first day I did 10 minutes on the rowing machine, and then 10 minutes on a stationary bike. And that was it. I'd stretched out before and stretched out after. And then yesterday I did 15 minutes rowing machine, 15 minutes stationary. And then I walked a lap after. And the lap is about 1/8 of a mile. And then I stretched out before and after. And today I stretched it out, weighted squats with a 10-pound kettle weight. And then I did 10 minutes on the stationary bike. And then I stretched it out again because my legs were feeling a lot. Did 10 pounds with a Russian twist. 5 minutes on stationary bike. And then I went back I stretched in between. Weighted squats with 15 pounds. And then 10 minutes on stationary. Stretch. Russian twists with 20 pounds. No. With 10 pounds. And then I did another 5 minutes on the stationary and walked it out for 7 minutes. So I worked out for like an hour today, and it felt really good. This week has been incredibly difficult because I'm coming out of a bad relationship. We broke up in October. It's very hazy because it was a whole situation. But enough time has passed that I'm realizing all of the things I should have caught. And so I want working out to be able to be my outlet for realizing that I was being psychologically abused, physically, sexually, which sounds like an over-dramatization. I completely get that, and I completely want to say that it's that, but looking back, there were so many times when I didn't know if he was going to stop just because I asked. And when his reaction to get me to stop doing things was to hit me, even if it wasn't with much force. And he had me convinced that, like, as much as I was enough for myself, I wasn't enough for anyone else. And I'm having to come to terms with all these things that I didn't see and that people around me were seeing, but that I couldn't. And I grew up with a lot of boys. I grew up to be very independent and to be very headstrong. And so the fact that I let this happen to myself for over a year is just mind-blowing to me. It's hard to fathom that I did that, because I should have noticed within a few months that it wasn't okay. But I was blinded. I wanted it to be my last relationship. I wanted it to be all these things where you get together and it's perfect and you want to get married and have kids and everything just fits together so perfectly. But there were so many times that I just should have ended it, and I never saw that until it was all over. And so I don't care about a physical result. What I do care about is I want to be able to appreciate what my body can do and appreciate how much dedication goes into working out regularly and hopefully every day. But I want to rebuild that faith that I had in myself before this relationship. And I hate that I sound like some girl who got her heart broken and her entire self is shattered, but when you come out of something like that, you have to evaluate how much it's changed you. And all the ways that it changed me, or all the things I was allowing to happen, really took hits at who I am. And while I don't think I'm a different person than I was before, I was making allowances the whole time. And so I don't know how much I want to do physical progress updates, but I do want to do mental progress updates and talk about what I did and talk about how I felt and everything, because I want to create a better solution for my mental health and for how I feel about myself than taking antidepressants or any anxiety medication, which I'm currently on one of each. So I want to create those healthy habits and healthy routines and just be better at being kind to myself. I'm very forgiving and kind towards other people, but towards myself is really hard. And so I want to rebuild that relationship with myself. And I want to do that through working out. So part of working out is the diet. And I'm not worried about, I am eating healthy because that's just who I am. But after my workouts, I make sure my smoothies have been banana and spinach, sometimes kiwi, so I can get that potassium into my body and hopefully have less cramps and all that. And that's been working out pretty well. And I'll eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to get a little bit of protein back into my body and just make sure that I'm good after I work out. So yeah, but it's gonna be interesting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and I am in a school from about 7:30, 7:45 until 4 o'clock, and then from 4 o'clock to 6 I'm in seminar. So I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to find time to work out tomorrow and still go to bed at a decent time. So I'm thinking about waking up super early, but not a morning person. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But I potentially want to check in before I work out tomorrow if I remember to. So if anyone ends up watching this, come on this journey with me. If not, it's a journey with myself, and that's what this is about anyway.